Hello YouTubers, this is cessnaace back again with another video. This is a new comics arrival video for week 3 this time. Now, during this past week I have received several packages containing comics and trade paperbacks and that sort of thing. In my head I can think of at least 9. Now, Saturday alone, Saturday just ending a few hours ago, I received 4 packages, 2 of which were from Indie Planet containing print-on-demand comics. Now, I already had some print-on-demand comics in this box of incoming comics I need to show. I just haven't gotten to them yet because of where they fall in the alphabet. Hopefully I will be able to get to them. Before I do that, however, I need to shout out one of my Patreon supporters. That would be Andrew J.M. I list all of my Patreon supporters down in the description box, where there is also a link to Patreon/cessnaace. Speaking of which, earlier in the week I made a public post of one of my massive comic shipping updates. These things take a massive amount of time and effort to put together. In fact, the one that I did last night took me 3 days. Now, the one that I did earlier in the week, the one that's public, it already had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comics and trade paperbacks in there, listing everything, artists on the covers and all that. But the one that I shouldn't have used that word, however, be grammatically correct, however, the one that I posted last night, I spent 3 days at least, or 3 nights, editing that thing because I've added some new features. I list all the ones that, well, in addition to being able to see which ones I've flagged that the covers may contain partial or complete nudity. I won't know for certain until they come in. Things from Another World, for example, usually identifies such covers as risque. And I can see a little image of what the comic looks like, but you can't blow it up. You try and enlarge it and it shrinks it. It's really weird. So I have flagged those, and the number, I've started adding the number of those that I've identified. There are 21 that are so identified in the most recent update. And also, I'm now tracking publishers and their lines of budget titles. Marvel has a line of comics that they publish. They're only $1, cover price of $1, and so does DC. And there is a independent publisher, Alterna, whatever. Anyway, a lot of their comics have low cover prices, generally around $1.50, which, after you factor in the 20% discount from Things from Another World, it drops down to around $1.20. The ones from Marvel and DC that are $1, they go down to 80 cents. Never thought I'd see the day that new comics were 80 cents. Now, first up are some comics that came in Saturday that are print on demand. This one has 2 covers available. The series is called Action Bunny Comics, spelled C-O-M-I-X. Now, issue 1, the cover contains, well, 3 of the females depicted are topless. However, this is issue 1.5, which is completely identical to issue 1 except for the cover. "52 pages of TNA adventure" is what it says there. very colorful. Some pages I can show and some I can't. I received no discount for saying this, but the usual high standards are maintained from Kablam. They do the printing on all of the print-on-demand comics that I get from Indie Planet. Now, this is a 3-issue miniseries. This is issue 2, and as of the last time I checked on the site, issue 3 had not been released yet. Now, this one, also from Indie Planet. I had to flash it real quick because I didn't want you to see my address. This is Alien Science #1. Now, what's interesting concept-wise about this is that it's done as if it were made in the 50s and looking forward to the future from their perspective, even though these stories are done now. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, next up are some comics from Things from Another World. This is something from Action Lab Danger Zone. Now, Danger Zone is the imprint they use on their mature titles. This is issue 8 of America Karate. I know I butchered that. This is a variant cover, movie poster variant. That's what it says. Now, something that I've been taking advantage of recently is are the discounted titles that are available at Things from Another World. Generally, these are around $1. This is from Archie Comics. It is issue 5 of Archie Meets Batman 66. Now, you might see some what looks like spine damage. It's made to look like that. Issue 5. And this is issue 5 with a different cover. Now, this one appealed to me, even though it was still only $1, so whatever, because of the pinball theme. And this is issue 6. And I'm going to have to go onto eBay to get the other issues because they weren't in stock any longer. This is a title that was also $1 from IDW. although I am subscribed to this series, this is issue 5, cover B of Assassinistas. Now, I have previously mentioned the pinup model, Bettie Page. This is issue 4 of volume 2 of Bettie Page from Dynamite. She was a very popular pinup model in the 50s. These days, she has kind of taken on a new role because feminists like her, because she was very independent and she did things her way. Alright, this is issue 2 of the current volume 3, Bettie Page Unbound. Alright, this is a series I have shown an issue of before, and it's from American Mythology Productions. My subscription started with issue 6, so I went back and started buying back issues of this series on eBay. This is the main cover of Casper's Capers. Now, while some of their Casper series contain new material, this is strictly for reprints. But what's really cool about this particular issue, which has some damage on one of the corners, which affects all the pages, I contacted the seller. The seller gave me a full refund, and I have since ordered another copy from the same seller. Now, the very first story is from Casper the Friendly Ghost #1, published by St. John's Publishing, 1949. Yes, his look changed over the years, as did another character, Wendy, the Good Little Witch. The second story printed in here was her first appearance. Which, of course, I showed a page that didn't show her. That is from Casper the Friendly Ghost issue 20 from 1954. All right, here is issue 2. This one has no damage. Issue 3. Four. Which I have to say, the seller that I bought that from on eBay threw in a bonus comic from Harvey from July 1962, Casper's Ghostland, number 14, However, no cover. But the comic is otherwise complete. And like I said, it didn't cost me anything. And generally, a comic in that kind of condition is unsellable anyway. Alright, this is issue 5, and I got this from a seller called My Comic Shop. I've purchased a number of comics from them. This is issue 1 of Casper's Ghostland. The whole point of that is, the 100th issue, Harvey published 99 issues of Casper's Ghostland. So even though this is American Mythology's first, it makes the 100th overall. Okay, this is a print-on-demand comic that I had flagged at Patreon/cessnaace that I wouldn't be able to show it, but looking at it for, well, it's not nudity per se, exactly. This is issue 9 of Danger Dolls from Danger Doll Comics. Written by a woman, by the way, Molly Whipple. I follow her on Twitter. They don't take anything from men in this series. Okay, this is one that cost me 15 cents at Things from Another World. Has a cover price of 25 cents from DC Nation number 0. Okay, I've talked about this series before. Originally, issues 1 through 51 were published by Antarctic Press, and then the series was picked up by Yoe Comics when the series was canceled by Antarctic Press. It was still a popular and profitable series, so two people left Antarctic Press and took this title and Zenescope with them, and started publishing them through Yoe Comics. And it kind of makes sense because both companies, Antarctic Press and Yoe Comics, are based in San Antonio, Texas. And I can't talk right now because I ran out of my seizure medication, and the doctor that I have for this knows that. However, she canceled my appointment that I had with her last week because of the hurricane. However, the hurricane's gone, and now I have to see her before she'll renew the prescription, even though I've been on this prescription for quite a while. Doctors. This is issue 22, which I bought from My Comic Shop on eBay. The series, Furlough. The longest running anthology series, if I'm not mistaken. This is, did I say what issue that was? It's 22. This is 38. And this is from Yoe Comics, although it too I got from My Comic Shop. It is issue 106. and that was clear back in October of 2001. The series has progressed much further since then. Alright, now we're to titles that came in because I had subscribed to them. This is from Archie Comics. It's issue 3 of Jughead's Time Police. And this is issue 3 with a different cover. Alright, this is issue 4 of Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica, also from Archie. Some of the crossover titles with Vampirella from Dynamite are published by Dynamite, and some by Archie. Issue 4, different cover. Never thought I would see the day when there was a cover like that from Archie, but there it is. This is the first issue of another series that I've subscribed to from American Mythology. This is from the Edgar Rice Burroughs universe, The Land That Time Forgot. The official motion picture adaptation, part 1 of 2. Sticking with American Mythology, this is issue 2 of, well, I've already shown you issue 1 in a previous video, Laurel and Hardy. This is the black and white cover variant. This series, well, it started off reprinting issues from Gold Key. However, there were only 2 issues. But there are other companies that published Laurel and Hardy in the U.S. This might be original material, however, because there is no information on whether it's reprinted or not, and they usually do that. They have another series called Laurel and Hardy Follies, or Classic Follies, that reprints French comics of Laurel and Hardy translated into English. Okay, we are to another print-on-demand comic. This one is Lost Jungle Tales from Charlton Neo, which would be Mort Todd. Things are always wanting to fly out of my hands because I don't have my medication. Now, it says published by Charlton Neo, an imprint of Mort Todd LLC. One of the stories that is printed in here was originally going to be published by Archie as part of their Blue Ribbon Comics series, issue 15 in fact, but that issue, the series was canceled with issue 14, so 14 came out, but 15 didn't. Anyway, full permission from Archie. But that was only one of the stories. The others, I believe, are either reprints of Charlton Comics from the 50s, late 50s, or they were stories that were prepared but not published. I don't remember. It does say unpublished art by Pat Boyette, stories by Paul Kuppenberg and Joe Gill. See how far am I into this thing? 26 minutes, that's not bad. Alright, this is issue 1 of Maul from Vault Comics. Alright, this is from Kaboom, which is an imprint of Boom Studios. This is Over the Garden Wall, Soulful Symphonies, issue 1 of 5. And this is a blank cover variant. Alright, this is a series that I've started ordering directly from IDW, although I don't think it's still being published. This is issue 1 of POPEYE Classics. This is a reprint series. They have another POPEYE series, which I don't believe is. Anyway, this is issue 2. This is from Yoe Comics, which is an imprint of IDW. Alright. I have 2 different covers of this issue. I can't show you one of the covers because of nudity concerns. However, this cover variation I can show you. This series is from E-Comix, spelled C-O-M-I-X, and it's actually either the 3rd or the 4th miniseries in this series of, the series Pussycats. This is Pussycats Eat Death or Get Naked #1. And their covers are photo covers, and they use models. A lot of nudity in these comics, also graphic violence and so forth, so you're not going to see the inside of that. Alright, I've already shown and in fact read the first 3 issues in this series. This is from Dynamite. Red Sonja and Vampirilla meet Betty and Veronica. This is another one that is made to look like a VHS rental case. Right, this is issue 3 of Red Sonja, Birth of the She-Devil. I don't think I can show you the inside of this one. And they put 2 Things from Another World stickers on here. I didn't. as it says back here, this is Shotgun Mary, Shooting Gallery #1, commemorative. Everything is wanting to slide over. Alright, this is from Dynamite, issue 00 of The Sovereigns. Alright, this is another print-on-demand title. This is Space Wars #1. This is a reprint series, and it covers August 1946 to February 1947. This is issue 2. This is issue 3. Here is another title from Charlton Neo, Steve Ditko's Weird Comics #1. These had originally been printed by Mort Todd, non-colored, black and white, because they hadn't been published by their intended publisher, Charlton. However, for this series, they have been colored, and by Mort Todd. Alright, this is issue 1 of Strayed from Dark Horse Comics. Another print-on-demand title, Steve Ditko in Outer Space. Alright, this is a kind of a, I don't know if it's a return or a reboot or what, but the Fem Force was a series that AC Comics, Americomics had all the way back in the late 80s or early 90s. Anyway, this is SUPERBABES starring the Fem Force, issue 1. Alright, this is issue 1 of Tommy Gun Wizards from Dark Horse Comics. Alright, this is from Danger Zone, well, Action Lab Danger Zone. This is issue 3 of Vamp Blade, and it's the Bravo variant. Alright, this is from Action Lab, but not Danger Zone. Anyway, issue 1 of Van Plet's The Undead Pet Society. Alright, this is from Zenescope. It is issue 1 of Van Helsing versus Dracula's Daughter. This is the same issue. Somehow, I don't know how, I wound up with 2 copies. This is issue 1, but it's a different cover. This is from American Mythology Productions. It is part of the Edgar Rice Burroughs universe. Moon Maid, issue 2. Now, this is a series that was published, self-published by the studio that made it, POPEYE Studios. This is issue 1. This series is in black and white. Issue 2. And My Comic Shop again. I like how they always grade the condition on their sticker. This is issue 3. Four. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. The final issue of Zeno's Arrow Book 1, 10. Now, there's a reason that I purchased all those on eBay. Yoe Comics frequently throws in a free comic. And one that they had thrown in recently was Zeno's Arrow Book 2, Issue 5. Still a black and white series. In fact, I don't think Yoe Comics publishes anything in color. I haven't run across anything that's in color that's from them. Alright, this is from Action Lab Danger Zone, issue 63 of Zombie Tramp. And finally, actually got to the end. The same issue, but with a different cover. All right. Now I know that I have an order coming from IDW. Also, Thanks from Another World has already shipped out 2 packages, but they have 2 more massive packages that should have already shipped. I don't know what's holding them up. I know one contains all of the pre-orders for this bi-weekly period, and as I mentioned, it's a massive package, and I know one of the reasons it might have been delayed, and that is one of the issues that I had pre-ordered. The only copy they could find was damaged and unsellable, according to that. I don't know exactly how it was unsellable, just that it was. And it was, well, I found another covered variation of that same issue on their site, which I have ordered. However, the one that I had originally ordered was a risque cover. So, not exactly the same thing, but there you go. All right, until next time. Oh, check out cessnaace, Patreon/cessnaace. No, I'm not going to do this over again. Until next time, stay awesome.